Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
You're here because you want the real story on healthy eating plans, right? Fast and clear.
Exactly. No fluff.
We've got some focused info today, so our mission really is just to pull out the key things you need to know. Make it stick.
That's the plan. We know you want efficiency, so we've boiled down the core ideas into, well, actionable stuff you can use right away.
Okay, let's jump in then. The source we looked at, it really lays out the foundation, the cornerstones of eating healthy. And it starts, maybe unsurprisingly, with what should make up most of our diet. We're talking lots of vegetables, fruits, whole grains. Think of that as your body's main fuel.
And it's interesting why the source pushes these so hard. It's all about the vitamins, the minerals, the fiber. They all work together, for long-term health, preventing chronic diseases.
Right, not just calories, but like beneficial compounds.
Yeah, packed with goodness.
And it's not just plants. The plan also talks about fat-free or low-fat dairy.
Calcium, vitamin D.
Yeah, crucial stuff. But the focus on low fat seems important too. It's about managing saturated fat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which the source links to cholesterol levels.
Exactly right. It's about getting those nutrients while keeping an eye on the things that can cause problems if you have too much. Low-fat dairy helps strike that balance.
Okay, then protein. We've got lean meats, poultry, fish, also beans, eggs, nuts. Quite a variety there.
Lots of options.
And what's cool is the extra benefits, right? Like the source points out, beans and nuts bring fiber and healthy fats along with the protein.
Yeah, that diversity is key. You get a wider range of nutrients that way. Each source adds something unique. It's not just about hitting a protein number.
Okay, so that's the eat more of this stuff. Now, let's flip to what our source says we should limit. This is just as critical.
Absolutely.
First on that list, saturated fats. And trans fats, too. Big red flags for heart health, according to the info.
Yeah, the source is pretty blunt about that. It draws a direct line between eating a lot of these fats and, well, higher risk for heart problems.
Okay, next up to watch, sodium.
Salt?
Right, salt. The source connects too much sodium with negative effects on blood pressure. And it hides, doesn't it? In processed foods especially. You got to check labels.
That's such a key point. So much hidden sodium in everyday stuff people grab off the shelf. Really have to be aware.
And finally, a big one, added sugars.
Ah, yes.
The source makes a point to separate these from natural sugars, like in fruit. It calls added sugars empty calories. Basically, calories without the benefits. That can lead to problems if you overdo it.
Precisely. No real nutrition, plus potential downsides for health. So limiting them is, a cornerstone of this healthy eating approach.
So you see, for you listening, this gives a pretty clear map, doesn't it?
I think so.
It's about loading up on nutrient-rich foods, vegetables, fruits, whole grains like I think broccoli, berries, brown rice, good stuff.
Right.
And then being really mindful, really conscious of those saturated and trans fats, the sodium, the added sugars. It's not some crazy fad diet.
No, just solid principles based on the information we have.
Which kind of leads to a good question for you, the listener, to think about. How do your current habits actually line up with this? Based on what we just discussed, is there one area that jumps out as maybe needing a tweak?
Yeah, that self-reflection is useful.
So, quick summary. Build meals around plants, veggies, fruits, whole grains. Add in lean proteins and low-fat dairy. And actively cut back on saturated trans fats, salt, and added sugar.
It's a solid framework, sustainable too, for making better choices day to day.
Okay, so here's a final thought to leave you with. Thinking about all that, the good stuff and the stuff to limit, what's maybe one small, realistic change you could try this week? Something you think might actually give you the biggest positive nudge? Because often it's those little consistent steps, right?
Definitely. Small steps add up.
Worth thinking about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.